welcome to episode 14 of The Worst Idea of All Time. My name is Tim Batt.
My name is Guy Montgomery. We just watched Grown Ups 2 for the 14th time.
Did you? Did you do that today? Is that what you did with your
Are you
morning?
doing the same thing we're doing? You should have told us.
If you were, we would tell you to stop immediately, stop and desist. There's no point in both of us doing it.
Anyway, so the premise, obviously, we watch Grown Ups 2 in review it every week for 52 weeks. This is the 14th week. It's on the back end of the comedy festival, which has just been and gone.
And congratulations, Guy Montgomery just named the 2014 Billy T winner.
Thank
That's
you.
Sensational.
Thank you very much, Tim.
And what I like about the podcast that we're doing is that many life events will happen, some good, some bad, but the one constant is that once a week, you and I will sit down and watch this terrible, terrible film.
That's right. And nothing can send you crashing back to Earth faster than a Grown Ups 2 screening without a guest. I think I really felt the absence of anyone else in the room this week. It was just you and I again doing it old school.
As it should be, because this shouldn't be easy. If it's easy, then there's no point in doing it. We were talking to some documentary filmmakers yesterday who wanted to interview us about the podcast, and they asked why. This is a bunch of questions. And their final one was, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
And it was a stumper.
It was a real stumper. It was a great question. I mean, they were making a pretty groundbreaking piece of documentary, I'd say, and I think it's coming out on FX.
I don't know if that's true. I'm not sure if that's true at all.
Anyway, Tim, how are you, mate?
Pretty gutted. I got about halfway through the movie, and Guy, you'll have noticed this. Person listening, you won't because you weren't here. But I just started laughing hysterically and unstoppably when it dawned on me that I have to watch the movie another 38 times after this one.
That's right. We had a few moments throughout the film today. That was for me a very enjoyable moment, just to see the mania in your eyes as you realised that. Because we were both just sort of slumped in the couch, just staring at the screen blankly. And you said, we've got to watch this movie so many times. And about 40 seconds of hysteria followed. And it was it was nice. I feel like that was the moment of all the podcasts we've done so far. That was the moment you realised the sheer scope.
The enormity.
Of the project, or as you've aptly used as an analogy before, the mountain ahead of us.
Yeah. This mountain that we've got to scale.
I tried a trick today, you would have noticed, Tim, around about the yoga scene where John Lovitz comes in and pretends to be a yoga instructor. Mm-hmm. I was trying to laugh at all of the jokes.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find every single moment that the directors and the writers and the actors thought there'd be a laugh point. I was trying to laugh at that moment. And I did for like 3 minutes. And I think in doing that, it was a very effective experiment, because what I found is that one of the main faults with this movie is they're asking too much from the audience in terms of laughter.
Yeah.
There's no light and shade.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're just firing out like a joke every 5 or 10 seconds in the hopes you'll laugh the whole way through. But
I believe in Italian Renaissance art that's known as fumato.
Truly?
I think that's more the blending of light and shade, and I also think I've mispronounced it. But
that sounds more
at
feasible.
any rate, no, you're totally right, man. They put a gag in every 15 to 30 seconds, especially they really front load the start of the movie with it, and you couldn't laugh for all of that. I mean,
it would be good, but even if it was good enough, it would be impossible to laugh.
Yeah. You've got to allow
much.
your audience some breathing room, some chill out space in between gags. And hey, why not take a punt on character development in those laughter lines?
Here's another
or story.
Here's another thing, because I don't think we're eligible to complain about the lack of plot anymore, because we watched the trailer, and between the movie and the podcast while Tim was getting set up, I loaded up on my phone and we watched the trailer for Grown Ups 2.
Just before.
Literally,
months ago.
like however long this podcast has been going, that's how long ago it was we watched it, and they don't even suggest a essence of plot or character development in the movie. It is essentially, the trailer is just a hodgepodge of the sort of grandest physical skits or throwaway lines, half of which they don't even use in the final cut of the film.
Yeah.
It's just like, look, we've made this heap of shit. This is the trailer. This is what the heap of shit's going to look like.
They did
If you want to watch it, that's up to you.
There was a clear signposting of what the movie was, and we probably should have watched the trailer before we agreed to do this concept, in fairness to the filmmakers.
They also had like a joke from Grown Ups in the trailer. Like, it was like, last summer, 4 friends shared an unforgettable weekend. And then they showed a joke and from Grown Ups 1, and it was a funny joke. I think it was probably funnier than any of the jokes in Grown Ups 2.
One of the kids, he's
talking about getting wasted.
One of the older guys says, "I want to get wasted," and one of the kids is overheard and says, "What's wasted?" And Adam Sandler, quick on his feet, goes, "That's when you have a hankering for ice cream." And so all of a sudden the kids are going, "I want to get wasted."
And then Adam Sandler's daughter, who's a phenomenal actress, goes, "I want to get chocolate wasted." And I thought that was pretty... I might be out of touch with what's funny and what's not at the moment.
This movie will do that. You can't see north or south anymore. You don't know which way is up. It really
it's like being in the desert, in the Antarctic desert in the summer. So it's always light. So you don't really get any direction from that, and you don't have a compass.
There's no compass on you,
and you're just in the middle of it, and you're just like, what way am I facing?
Guy, how are you feeling? Just about everything.
How am I feeling? Well, there is always solace in the actual recording element of the podcast, because this means that this is the longest. It's from now until next time. This is the longest amount of time there can be in between screenings of Grown Ups 2. I actually watched an episode of The Simpsons this morning, the one with the dishwasher detergent where Homer's on the face of that Japanese
fish bulb,
yeah, and in it, at the start of it, because that's the same episode where Marge Simpson becomes the listen lady at the church, because Reverend Lovejoy is a really...
listen lady.
Yeah. I'm the listen lady. Listen lady in Mo Sislak, yeah. I don't think I want to continue living or something. Anyway,
that's right.
And in the episode, at the start of it, they all go to church, and like none of them want to go to church except Marge, and everyone in Springfield's like sleeping in the church service.
Yeah.
And they get home, and Homer and Bart and Lisa all run inside and take their church clothes off, and Marge is like, "No, why are you so happy? You shouldn't be like." And they're like, "Because this is the longest in between going to church. This is after walking out of church. This is the longest it will be until we have to go to church again." And that is how I feel coming out of Grown Ups 2. It's like The Simpsons going to church.
Right. This is the longest time before you have to get your stuffy suit back on and your dress shoes that you hate wearing and your tie that's ill-fitting.
So in saying that this moment makes me happy, that must be a pretty damning sort of statement on where my general attitude towards the movie and the podcast is.
Yeah.
But
that's the mountain guy.
This is like dessert after you ate all of your broccoli when you're 7.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, the broccoli experience is terrible.
But I have to say, even this week, like not even the promise of a podcast record with your good self could really pull me up, you know? Like I was still pretty gutted about everything.
Yeah, you said, "Should we get coffee before we do the podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, we get coffee," and then thought about it for 2 seconds and said, "No, can we just get this thing over with?" And then Tim said, "Yeah.
Let's get it done." And here we all are. Love doing the podcast, but just, you know, you've got to understand, folks, that this movie will drain every ounce of your will to live. Like, we're happy guys. Me and Guy, we're happy guys. We're just rocking along through life, leading really fabulous lives, you know?
Fabulous.
Did a gig last night at the Classic. Didn't know I was on.
Did you?
Got a phone call at 8 o'clock from Lauren going, "Hey, you're emceeing
How
tonight."
you were emceeing?
Yeah, and I did not know, so I called up a cab, rocked on over
How was the
there.
gig?
Yeah, it was all right. Very quiet crowd, but very respectful. You know, like they weren't big laughers, but they were.
Did you do material, or were you just making it up?
I mostly material. A little bit of crowd work.
Yeah.
A little bit of crowd work.
And did anyone kill?
It was a hard crowd, man. It was a hard crowd. I thought
we all laughed out from the festival.
Who closed out the first half? No, I can't remember. Someone killed pretty well.
Good for them.
Kate Hunn was on, who won the... She got second place in the Raw finals. I've got to say, do a shout out to someone.
Okay.
David Corios made me promise. We've got 2 fans of that, and then we'll move back into the
podcast.
Normal featured. A shout out to Nicole Winkleman and...
Ben Westerning in it. They're my mates and have been massive fans of you and Guy since you live.
So, hey Nicole and Ben... Hope you're well. Thanks for listening.
How lovely.
I can't
believe you're listening. So I was asking you about your mood.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
like
so
that.
bad. So anyway, let's press forward. Hey, I haven't thought of a top 3 for today. Should we think of one now on the fly? Do you want to think of one, or should I think of one?
You can think of one.
Okay, we're going to do it right now.
Okay.
I'm going to get you on the fly. Top 3 memorable, like, extras.
Okay,
which is something that I think you can
3.
only pull off if you've seen a movie 14 times.
I don't know if he's an extra because he's got a speaking role. I'd say featured extra maybe.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to watch him. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. Tim Fitzsimon broached this topic last week, but especially in the final fight scene, because Like, this is Arnie's son, right? He should
Yeah.
always, if he's going to agree to do a movie, you'd always think he'd always stipulate that he has to win his fight scene. But he
Yeah.
gets knocked the fuck out by Braden Higgins,
Yes,
and that's
he
really
does.
funny.
With a great move. And I've said this many times as we've watched, but Braden, what does he do first? I think he kicks him first, and then he does a forward roll into a jumping, like, dive punch. It's a phenomenal
It's one of the better
move.
fight scenes in the movie. You know,
I'll pick one.
Okay, yeah.
And then you pick number one.
Yeah, okay.
It's got to be... They disrespected Alfredo.
Oh, blow dry boy.
Blow dry boy, who's in the fight
What's
scene.
up, blow dry boy?
This is one of the frat boys who is in the movie twice, that like highly visible. Once in the car when they encounter, I don't know his real name, but Mackenzie, Boomer. We're going to stop using the names. Chris Rock's son. No one's seen the movie. Chris Rock's son is taking a driving test and pulling up next to them at the lights is the frat
Full of
boys.
college boys. I think this has even been your shining light once.
Yeah,
this
it
guy.
has, yeah. And back left, there's a blonde guy with glasses on, and he says, he disrespected Alfredo. And
Disrespected the crap out of it.
it's the dumbest voice
Yeah.
in the whole film.
I mean-
and then he's also in the fight scene, and he gets taken down by guys, I would say, favourite character
Okay.
maybe? The gym teacher.
Yeah, it's not probably not my favorite. My one is Taron Killam from Saturday Night Live. He's one of the guys who cleans the car. That does when they go into the car wash, the men's car wash.
Which one is he?
He's the one who's like he's on the windshield and his bird shit on the windshield, and he
Oh.
looks at Kevin James and
Yeah.
he mouths the words bird shit.
Yeah, sexually.
And then he starts licking the bird shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I actually like that or not. I'm a bit confused.
It's
that's-
actually brilliantly funny.
But I mean, it was a weird top three. I was actually really struggling to come up with any of the extras or just any moments
Oh,
I
you did
enjoyed.
well.
Overall, with the extras, I think one thing we both noticed again tonight in the fight scene, the big grand finale fight scene, they obviously shot it in a linear fashion chronologically because by the end of it, if you're watching the extras during Taylor Lautner and Adam Sandler's fight,
Yeah.
they are so tired.
Yeah.
They're just like swinging with half a meter gap between the fist and the face.
It's hilarious. There's like one very particular shot where there's two dudes engaged in a fist fight, and they're standing so far apart, like their fists wouldn't even touch the other guy's fist.
And they're just swinging.
Just swinging, and it looks shockingly bad if you pay any attention to it. Doesn't hold up, you know. You hold it to the light and it disintegrates in your hand. That's what a lot of this movie is. But I'll tell you what, a couple of things we noticed today for the first time, which is amazing after you've seen a movie as many times as us.
I'm ready. What are they? I don't remember.
Peter Dante holding hands with Shaq. And
Yeah.
where Higgins he's in the tire and he pukes. Never seen this before, but when the shot goes back and it's got the two cops in the background, Peter Dante has obviously grabbed hold of Shaq's hand, and Shaq just like shakes his hand off.
Yeah,
It's quite a funny little.
That's funny. And then we
background visual gag.
speculated that they're trying to sneak in jokes. So there's obviously like a standard of joke which is too high, they think, for the film because it will
Yeah.
make the rest of the jokes look bad. And
Yeah.
so this is one that just sort of flew under the radar. Because the other thing that I thought today was, you know, the gym teacher who we obviously love.
Yeah.
He's got his great line, "Who wants to watch me climb a rope?"
Yeah.
And then he jumps on a rope. It's probably one of the funniest parts of the movie.
Wait, no, do it. Back from the mic a little bit and do it properly.
Who wants to watch me climb a rope?
That's very good. You're getting very good at those voices.
And he jumps up the rope, and it's like funny, easily the funniest moment in the movie. And then they undercut it, so it's like the laugh crescendo, the laugh point in that joke is too high that if they continue on with the rest of the movie and do the hard cut to Kmart or whatever that they want to, that it would be. It would make the rest of the jokes look awful. So instead, they put a terrible tag on it where Bumpty, Tim Meadows' son, says, "Yo, you got to put those Easter eggs back in the basket," talking about his balls.
So what you've interpreted is that they know that the line the gym teacher delivers is funny, and then they've gone, fuck, it's too funny for the rest of the film, so they have to take the edge off the joke.
And I've got a few theories about stuff like this where there's just a moment that juts out of the movie, and in the final edit, they've watched it back and they've said, okay, we've got to get some footage to put into this bit and this bit. Because the other one was when Adam Sandler's yelling at his daughter after the dance recital for no apparent reason. He says, "Butt out, this is grown-up talk," to his daughter. And it's like, that's really harrowing. And so they would have watched
he's
it back.
just shouting in a little girl's
That's right,
face.
for no reason. She's just being lovely.
Yeah.
And so they looked back at it in the final edit and they said, we got to like
This is
mellow.
dark.
This is dark. We're going to mellow this yell.
Yeah.
Because Adam Sandler has got to have a certain amount of yelling lines in the movie. So we're going to mellow this yell, and they do a cutaway shot of the girl just poking her tongue out, which kind of makes it cute, but also even more depressing that she's just had to develop this coping mechanism for Adam Sandler as a father, who is he's just yelling at her all the time.
He treats everyone terribly in this film.
I mean, have you got any thoughts?
Well, I mean, let's stay on the Adam Sandler vibe. We've mentioned this in passing in episodes gone by, but I don't think it's had enough attention. Adam Sandler attempts to drug his child at one point in the movie because he can't be bothered putting her to bed properly. Yeah. He reaches over at the bedside table and grabs what appears to be like a sleepy time medicine something. And she says quite rightly, and I think this is another case of Becky, unfortunately, having to grow up ahead of her years. She goes, "No, Daddy, like that's not okay. You're trying to put medicine down my throat.
No, Daddy.
I'm not sick. No, Daddy." And he says, "You don't want just one slug? I thought you liked this stuff." Fuck you, Adam Sandler. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. You're trying to drug your kids. You're yelling in children's faces.
I'm nervous that we're going to start going around in circles soon because that lends itself to the conversation around how everyone in the town essentially is bad and they're all bullying each other constantly. But I mean, we've already covered this stuff. Higgins,
he's all right.
Higgins is all right.
What was your shining light today? Did you have one?
My shining light today... Actually, I mean, it was only for 2 minutes, but the experiment, this is less to do with the movie and more to do with my reading of it today. And I do call it a reading now. It's no longer a watching.
Yeah.
I think this has gone beyond just watching something. And my reading of the movie today, when I made the sort of the critical thinking and academic decision to try and seek out the laugh points, and I did start laughing. I found one laugh the jokes are coming so thick and fast. One laugh led on to the other laugh. And for a while, it was actually working in a sense that I was genuinely laughing at the ludicrousness of the joke rate of the movie. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I was enjoying the movie, not for the movie that was made, but for the movie that they thought they could make and spectacularly failed to make. Wow. And so that wasn't actually in the movie, but today that was my shining light.
You took the blue pill to borrow a Matrix
to mix movie metaphors.
Because that's like... You've been given the choice. It's like you can see through the Matrix, which is what we've been doing, I think, kind of, in weeks gone by. But this time you're like, no, I'm going to voluntarily go into the Matrix and view it as it was intended to have been interpreted.
That's right. That is how I was trying to watch this as a fan of the movie would watch it. And, I mean, it's...
You look like you were having a bloody ball, mate.
And I don't know, it was enjoyable. I could, in that moment, I could imagine someone enjoying the movie.
I'm going to try and do that next week.
It's not sustainable. It's only it's like salvia or some sort of drug, which it's very intense, but it only lasts for 10 seconds.
What's that stuff you can get in Dunedin? Datura.
Except
Datura lasts for a while. It just doesn't end well. Never ends well.
Yeah, there were some kids who did Datura at my school.
Really? How'd they turn out?
I don't know what they're up to now, but I'm pretty sure they got lost in a forest, and one of them lost some toes.
That sounds right. That sounds about right. Datura often leads to people winding up in places and they don't know how they got there, and it's almost invariably naked.
Interesting.
So many times.
Did you get those propaganda stories about? I don't know if it's propaganda. I haven't actually tried Datura, but about don't do Datura. My cousin Michael knows did Datura, and he thought he was an orange, and he peeled himself with a fruit peeler.
That specific one sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I heard it attributed to Datura. Datura didn't really feature at all in my consciousness till later. Heard lots of bad stuff about pee and heroin. But
where are the positive
Datura.
pee and heroin stories?
Right.
Where are they coming from?
This is the thing people don't realise about pee. Tons of successful people do pee on the semi-reg. I'm not going to get involved with it though myself. I've never done pee, and I don't think I want to start.
That was as close to an ad or a recommendation for pee as I've ever heard. It's not good. Don't do it, obviously.
Here's my shining light from Grown Ups 2 today. There's a line near the end of the film, and maybe that's just why I liked it because we're closing in. Salma Hayek says, "Do you want to put Becky to bed? She's tired." Adam Sandler says, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't want to. I'm just trying to enjoy some delicious punch. Here you go. She says, "You wouldn't want to drink too much punch around all these children." He says, "I think I'd be fine." And my shining light is, Salma Hayek says, "Actually, no, you wouldn't." Because there's just something something. She nails the delivery of it. It's very honest and truthful and lovely and funny, and it says a lot about her as a person and that she's willing to put up with Sandler's shit and take it kind of with good humour and good graces.
Yeah.
And actually, something we did talk about briefly during the movie was the different marriages. Chris Rock's marriage is fucking great in this movie.
It is a healthy marriage. They have a diaper date. I mean, they're running on they love each other. They're running on a great schedule with the kids.
I feel like you and me, we're like Chris Rock and Maya Rudolph if we were picking a couple from this film, which
I'd like to think so. Hey, Tim, seeing as we're about to wind down, I just thought we might quickly discuss some of the ideas we have for upcoming podcasts, because I think some of them are really great. So the one we mentioned in passing with James Acaster is we're going to do we decided we're going to write a radio play, a play between the gym teacher character and the sort of hippie yoga teacher character.
Not the yoga teacher, the high school.
Well, no, but
teacher.
he's a high school teacher, but he's carrying a yoga mat in the film. Sorry,
right.
my bad. He's the one who goes, "All right, little bird, it's time to find your nests, man." So we're going to write a piece of fan fiction based around them having a conversation in the staff room. That will be a whole episode. So that will be a 20 to 25 minute radio play between two characters. We will watch the film before we perform the play. Maybe even we'll dedicate the first 5 minutes of the podcast to just a quick debrief on how we felt before we launch into it.
Well, that's a great idea. Some others that we've got coming up.
We've got a director's commentary.
Yeah, we'll probably do that around episode 26, like at the halfway point, because we want to do it for something big.
Absolutely.
So, do you reckon that'll count as a viewing?
Yeah, that will count as a viewing.
So we'll do a full director's commentary for the film that you can download as an audio file, and if you ever wanted to watch the movie, just hold out till that one.
That's absolutely right. I've also got a very good friend named Gus who has watched Grown Ups 1 voluntarily over 10 times. He thinks it's one of the funniest films ever made. And so what I've offered to Gus and what we will do probably in a few episodes' time is Gus, Grown Ups' biggest fan in the world, is going to join us for his first viewing of Grown Ups 2 and a debrief afterwards. I mean, I think he's going to be a real sort of beacon of light, of positivity.
It's kind of weird if he's such a big fan of Grown Ups 1 and he never got around to seeing Grown Ups 2.
Well, he's also watched Step Up 4, or I think, is there a Step Up 4? He's watched
Step Up 3D. So
like the two movies he's watched the most in his life are Grown Ups and Step Up 4.
I don't know if I want to meet this guy.
He's actually a really good guy. Have we got any others? I mean, those were the big three that I was thinking of, which I sort of wanted to let people know, something to look forward to.
Maybe we should do a Datura episode.
Yeah. Watch it naked in the forest.
Yeah, man.
See what happens. I mean, anything's possible, guys, all right? The sky's the limit. And reach for the stars and achieve your goals.
We'd love to hear your suggestions as well, and we love getting feedback from you motherfuckers.
That's right. We will endeavour to post, now that the comedy festival's over, we'll probably be able to be a little more interactive on the Facebook page. We'll endeavour to post the drinking game rules at some point this week.
Sorry.
Have we got the piece of paper?
Yeah, I think it's in my room. It's meters away from me.
Okay, we're going to pull it off. It's going to be a good week, guys. Welcome back.
It's great to have you back.
It's great to have you back. It's been a pleasure watching.
We'll get Tanya on.
Yeah, we've got to get Tanya on. That'll be another thing. Lots to look forward to on the landscape. See, this is for the listeners, but this is also for us, Tim. This is for us to look forward to something.
Tanya is the extra who gets hit in the back of the head with an ice cream scoop by Colin Quinn. We got in touch with her on Twitter. She's going to be on our podcast at some point.
Right. So there's a bit to look forward to there, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic week. Don't watch the movie. I've been Guy Montgomery.
Don't watch the movie. I've been Tim Beck.
Live everybody.